What's up, everybody? It's Kobe Price, the Orlando Magic beat reporter for the Orlando Sentinel. It's the All-Star break and no games are being played, which makes this a perfect time to answer a few questions you, the fans, have heading into the season's final stretch. So let's dive right into it. Question one comes from Hank the Tank. Love the work you have been doing covering the team. Thanks, Hank. My question is, will the Magic increase Jonathan Isaac's minutes in the last 23 games of the season? Yes, Hank, this is something I actually spoke with Jonathan Isaac about before the break. He does expect his minutes to go up, in the last 23 games. They're going up incrementally, within the first 10 games that he played. He was playing in that 8 to 10 minute restriction. Then they went up to maybe around 11, 12. I think he played around 14 minutes in that in the home loss to the Miami Heat shortly before the break. So the minutes will go up. And he even mentioned, in conversations that there's probably a topic of conversation between him and the medical staff or the medical staff in the front office of, how his body's responded to the first 10 games and what the plan will be for the final 23 games. Moving on to question number two from Steven Walker. What's Paulo got to do to get over the rookie wall? And what have other teams done in game planning that contributed to him hitting it? First, I guess climb over it if you want to be funny. But no, for Paulo is really just, getting the rest. I think this All-Star break will help him a lot, just getting off his feet, getting rest, and recuperate his body. Sometimes we forget that, they call it a rookie wall for a reason. He hasn't played this many basketball games in a season before, probably in his entire career, especially with the workload, the minutes load he's carried. I think it'll be important for him to just get rest, recuperate, and refresh his, the mind and body for the final 23 games, especially with the play-in push. And what teams have done really is just, send more bodies to him, whether it's double teams, whether it's, getting in his driving lanes a little bit more. Teams are very aware that Paulo is one of the premier, young players in this league, and they're showing him the respect by just crowding his space, whether it's double team, stunting, any kind of terminology you want to use in that sense. So for him, rest, and I know he's a studier. He's going to study the game, and he's going to find his pockets and spaces where he can operate best out of, so teams aren't as likely to send the extra bodies his way. Question number three comes from Mountain Man Magic Fan. What a name right there. What do you think the front office values more, playoff experience for our young core or draft position? And what should they value more in your opinion? I think my opinion kind of aligns with the front office's opinion on this, or the team's opinion. I believe they are valuing playoff experience, or just the experience of playing those sort of playoff atmosphere type games for this young core rather than draft position. And we're kind of seeing this over the last couple of weeks, and I'd imagine it'll carry over to the last 23 games where, they're speaking about it publicly. Like, these experiences of playing these tight games, they matter. And having the experience of chasing after the playoffs, after the play-in contention, that matters for this team. And obviously, the front office is going to have maybe a bigger picture view of, adding to this team in the future, free agency, draft, and, the bigger picture macro look of the team. But we can see based off the decisions they've made, standing pat with this young core at the deadline, they're wanting to see what this young core can do on their own, what they can grow into. And I think, having the experience of chasing after the plan or even getting into the plan will pay dividends down the line. And I think that's how they're looking at it. If, this team can get to that point, it's no guarantee they'll make the plan or make the playoffs this year. They still have a mountain to climb to, be funny with your name right there. But that's something that they value. And I think that's going to be more important than, draft position toward the end of the season. The fourth and final question comes from Welt God. Just to be clear, this is not a Jeff Weltman burner account, but Wilt God asks, if you were forced to bet your own money on the Magic making the play-in or not, which bet would you make? If I had to put my own money on this, which I will not be, but if I did, I would bet on the Magic not making the play-in this season. Unfortunate for, I guess, the Magic and Magic fans hoping for that to happen. More so, it's not because of what I think of the Magic. I just think that how far behind they are right now, in addition to what the other teams above them, is going to make it a very difficult mountain to climb for them. As of right now, heading to the All-Star break, they are 4 games behind the Toronto Raptors, who occupy the 10th spot in the Eastern Conference standings. And I do believe the Magic have a run in them down the season stretch, but they will need a little bit of help from teams like the Wizards or the Raptors or the Bulls or the Pacers that they need to climb over to get into that play-in spot. And even if the Magic, play above 500, during the season's final stretch, they'll need the other teams above them to play a little bit worse than that. If the teams were all even and it was a race to just who will have the better record down the stretch, then I think the Magic will have a much better chance. But since the Magic are coming from behind and having to chase from behind, I find it hard to, if I had to bet my own money, bet on the Magic in that position. Thanks everyone for the questions, even the ones I wasn't able to get to right now. They're all appreciated. We'll be doing more Q&As in the future, so keep the questions coming.